Hello, and welcome to episode 9 of the Nourish and Strengthen podcast. I am your host, Trainer Lindsay. Today, we're going to be talking about the number one thing that could absolutely be killing your fitness results. Okay, but before I tell you what that is, I'm going to go into a little bit of my last 7 days update. Right now, actually, we are packing to go on Brinley's senior trip. So Brinley is my almost 18-year-old. She graduated from high school this year, and we are heading to South Carolina, to Hilton Head. We actually leave tomorrow. So by the time this airs, our trip will be over and we'll be home, but we're getting excited. The hot weather and humidity are just waiting for us. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Other than that, we are just loving summer, and time is going by so fast, you guys. Can you believe it's already the end of July? That's insane to me. But anyway, life here is going great. Let's go ahead and kick off our cliffhanger. Again, the one thing that is killing your fitness results, I'm going to start here with a little bit of a story. So this is a hypothetical situation, okay? But I see it all the time in my coaching business. So we're going to call this client Sarah. Okay, so we're going to call this client Sarah. No offense to any Sarahs out there, but let's just talk about Sarah's experience. Okay, so here's the story. So Sarah signs up to work with her Moxie coach, works with our coaching company, and she's expecting a quick 5-pound weight loss in that first week. You know, a lot of us have these high expectations, right? It doesn't happen. Instead, she loses 2 pounds. She's disappointed. She thinks she's a failure. She thinks that week was not productive, not worth her time. She thinks week 2, she's going to lose another 2 to 3 pounds because, she only lost 2 pounds in her first week. So she's definitely going to lose more in this second week. And she loses a modest 1 pound. Okay. By the end of month 1, Sarah is like over the top frustrated because she's lost, air quotes, only 5 pounds. She thought she would lose at least 20, when she thought she would lose at least 10. Okay. Her goal was 10 pounds in the first month, 20 pounds. I mean, maybe that's some people's goal too, but that is crazy expectations. She thought she'd lose 10 pounds in the first month. She's disappointed. She's sad. She's frustrated. And those feelings of, disappointment and frustration lead her to go on a binge, right? She binges on pizza and ice cream because she's feeling so sad. And those foods, help her feel better in the moment. But do you think she feels better long-term? No. She struggles to get back on track that weekend. She gains a pound back that week because of that week-long binge cycle. And now she's 5 weeks into her program and down, air quotes again, only 4 pounds. And she's frustrated again. And it is this never ending cycle. So I want you guys to think about this for a minute. What do you think her problem here is? So you might say, okay, her problem was that she went on the binge fest. Her problem was that she went and ate all the pizza and the ice cream, right? Do you think that's her problem? In my opinion, no, that's not her problem. The problem here was her expectations. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about, where do we get these crazy expectations? What's going to happen as a result of these expectations? We're also going to go over what your proper expectations should be in a fat loss phase. We're going to go over reverse and maintenance in future episodes. Right now, we're just talking about that fat loss phase. And I'm also going to go over with you how to reframe whatever your current expectations are. If you need a little mindset shift, we're going to go through that as well. We're going to talk about how to reframe your current expectations so that they better serve you. Okay. So if you can relate to Sarah's situation at all, you know that if you start a program or a fat loss phase or whatever with these high expectations that you don't end up reaching, it can be super frustrating, right? So let's first talk about where do we get these crazy high expectations, okay? So I really tried to brainstorm on things that I hear from you guys, not necessarily you guys, but people on social media. So things I've heard before many, many times. These are not rare for people to say this to me. Well, I've done things before where I saw these really fast results. I've done things before where I lost the 10 pounds in a month or, 3 or 4 pounds a week. Okay. So they did something before, they saw the fast results. That might be one reason why you have this expectation. You might think, well, when I was younger, I just cut out sugar and I could lose 5 pounds easy, right? Oftentimes comparing, maybe you're 45 years old now and you're comparing back to when you were 20 or 25, or I mean, heck, even 30. Okay. Or maybe you think, well, Sally down the street started keto and she lost 20 pounds in a month. So why can't I see crazy results like that? Okay. Maybe you say, oh, I did a program, I did Optavia and I lost all this weight. Or I take semaglutide and I lost all this weight. Or maybe it's the Biggest Loser that plants these huge expectations. I mean, they're losing like 10 pounds in a week, 7 pounds in a week. It's insane, right? So these extreme examples that we're seeing either on social media, on TV, or from our friends, or these crazy stories that we hear, they can give us that hope that, well, if they saw results like that, then I can too. And what's the problem with that? Right? So that might be kind of where we get these expectations. So what happens when we don't hit them? Let's say you do start a program and you are thinking like, okay, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in the first month, 5 pounds in the first week, and then like 2 pounds a week after that, which will help me lose 30 pounds in 12 weeks or whatever, right? It's really not reasonable, you guys, to expect that you're going to lose these crazy amounts of weight super quickly if you are doing things in a healthy, sustainable way. Okay. Let me repeat. You want to do things healthy. You want to do this in a slow and a lifestyle, a sustainable way, because you're going to be so much more likely to maintain that in the future if you do it in a sustainable way. Okay. So when your expectations are too high, you're quite literally setting yourself up for failure, like literally. So let's talk kind of through that process. Okay. So let's kind of go back to another example here. So I like to talk a lot about how our circumstances, how our situation, our surroundings influence our thoughts, feelings, actions, results, that kind of thing. Okay. So let's talk through that here. So let's say you lost 2 pounds in 1 week. Okay. Week 1, you start a program, you lose 2 pounds. So if your expectations are too high, the thought you have about that is that this is too slow. I thought I'd lose 5 pounds this week. I can't believe I only lost 2. This is way too slow. Okay. So if those are your thoughts, if those are the thoughts you're thinking, you're going to feel disappointed, frustrated, sad, mad, angry, all the things, right? Now, what do you do? What do most of us do when we feel these feelings? We head to the pantry or to the freezer and we get out the chips, the cookies, the chocolate chips and the peanut butter, the ice cream, whatever it is. We overeat. It's kind of a human reaction to things. It's not ideal, but it's something that we do because we can eat these foods and we can get that quick hit of dopamine. We feel better for a second. And that's kind of what we're craving, is that feeling better for a minute, right? That's the action that comes from feeling disappointed, sad, frustrated, etc., right? And so what result are we getting from that action, from the binging, the overeating? We're getting even slower progress. And then that cycle just keeps on going. Okay. So I'm going to help you guys. If that's kind of the cycle you're in, I'm going to help you reframe those thoughts in just a couple of minutes. Okay. So stick around in just a minute. We're going to walk through how we could be thinking about it, because remember, your thoughts are optional. You can choose your thoughts. And if the thoughts you're having are not serving you, you can make an intentional decision to change those thoughts and work on changing the things that you tell yourself on an everyday basis. Okay. So what are appropriate expectations if you're doing this the right way? Okay. If you are doing this in a way that is sustainable for you long-term. So what does that mean really quick? That means you are eating foods that you love. You're not eating quote unquote diet foods. You're not eating chicken, rice, and broccoli if you don't really like those things. Okay. Newsflash. You do not have to eat foods you don't like in order to lose weight. Okay. You 100% can eat foods you love in moderation and see amazing, amazing results. Okay. So that's one thing. All right. Another thing is you are doing workouts, activity, living a lifestyle that you truly enjoy, that you really, really love. You're going to be so much more likely to stick with that long term if you're doing things that you really love. Okay. Also, you don't want to have to adjust your lifestyle too dramatically all at once. If you are someone who, lives a really busy lifestyle and oftentimes you are eating out, you don't need to completely stop eating out. You need to just maybe change the frequency you eat out, right? But maybe it's choosing different foods when you go to different restaurants, or choosing better restaurants that are healthier for you than other ones, right? It's just tweaking these things. If you love treats and sweets, you do not need to cut those out completely. Okay. You need to learn how to have moderation in those things. And that's going to make you so much more maintainable. It's going to make your results more maintainable in the long run. Okay. So if you're doing this the right way, you should expect to lose half pound to maybe 2 pounds per week max. Let me say this. You got to listen. This has to be very clear. If you lose it too fast, you are so much more likely to gain it back and then some. Okay. I promise you, you guys, you want to do this in a slow and sustainable way. Okay. The slower you do it, the more likely you are to maintain it. All right. If you go like all in, too strict, cut out your favorite foods, follow super strict meal plans, cut out eating out, all sugar, all the things you love, you're not learning how to do this for life. All you're doing is putting yourself on a quote unquote diet, right? That's not maintainable or sustainable, right? You're going to gain it all back when you go off of this protocol, this diet you have for yourself, because you haven't really taught yourself how to see results in a way that fits your lifestyle. Does that make sense? So when you're doing this right, the weight loss is slower, but it is so much more lasting. Okay. Yo-yo dieting is so bad, you guys, for your hormones, for your metabolism, for your mindset. You want to lose the weight and then keep it off, right? I mean, that should be everyone's goal, right? That should be the biggest goal of all, right? Is that maintenance. So let's kind of break that down. Okay. Half pounds to 2 pounds. So you might be, maybe you're 140 pounds and 5'3", and you're like, sweet. She just said I could gain 2 pounds a week, and I have the liberty to be disappointed if it's not 2 pounds a week. No, guys, the smaller you are, okay, the lower your weight, the more likely it is that you're going to be around the half to 1 pound a week range. Okay. If you are in a bigger body, you may lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, and that's great too. So in our 12-week Moxie Metabolic Reboot System, it's very common for clients to lose about 10 to 12 pounds in 12 weeks. Okay. Some do lose up to 20, and some lose about 6 to 8. And all of these are fantastic, and they're all worth celebrating. So the key here, you guys, is accepting the slower progress and celebrating it. That is huge. Okay. It's so important to celebrate every single little win you have. So let me tell you a little bit of a story. So back when I went through that year of gaining weight, right? Remember, I gained 50 pounds in a year. I remember very clearly the week that it was in September in 2019. And I remember I stepped on the scale and my weight hadn't gone up again. I was like, huh, that's kind of weird. Like, I've been gaining weight literally every single week for 52 weeks. I'm not exaggerating. And it didn't go up. Like, that's funny. Okay. Well, must be a fluke, you know. Next week I get on the scale and it's down a half a pound. Now, some people might think, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds or 30 pounds or whatever, to only have it be down a half a pound. That's too slow. That's crazy. I'm never going to get there, right? Do you see these stories that a lot of us tell in our heads? But for me, in that situation, I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I've been gaining weight for a year. And not only did it not go up, it actually went down. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I was so thrilled. It gave me this newfound confidence. It gave me this energy of like, I can do this empowering energy. And it just kind of kept going. But it was slow going, guys. It was slow going. It was, a half pound here, half inch there, very slow. But guess what? Here we are 3 years later, and I've still maintained the weight that I lost. So it is so, so worth it to go slow. Okay. So let's talk about how to reframe these proper expectations. So let's go back to that example, that model where, you lost the 2 pounds in a week and you're frustrated because it's too slow. Okay. So yeah, if you feel like those thoughts are serving you, go for it. Fine. For most of us, they're not serving us. And I kind of walked through why they don't serve us, right? But let's talk about how we can reframe those expectations. So maybe you're like, okay, Lindsay, I get it. I get that I should change my expectations, but I don't really know how, or I don't know like what that's going to do for me. I don't know how, some people might think, well, with these lower expectations, I am maybe accepting mediocrity or accepting, not doing as well. I don't want you to see it like that. Okay. So let's talk through another model where same fact, same circumstance. You lost 2 pounds in week 1. Okay. Now, in this situation, the thought you have about this is that you're thrilled, right? You're thrilled because you were just hoping for any movement in the right direction and you got that and you were so happy because you're like, oh my gosh, I was hoping for any movement in the right direction and I got 2 pounds. That's amazing, right? So because these are the thoughts you're thinking, how do you think you feel? You're going to feel happy, excited, motivated to keep going because things are working, right? You're thinking, this is working. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, right? And so now your action, what do you typically do when you feel happy, excited, motivated? You tend to continue to stay on track, right? You tend to keep doing the things that you're doing because you know that they're working. Your confidence is going to build. Your sense of empowerment is going to keep on going higher and higher and higher. And the result of this is more and more results. So do you guys see how the same circumstance can be looked at 2 totally different ways and have a completely different outcome and really kind of completely change the trajectory of your journey? Do you guys see that now? So I want you to think about that. I want you to really just evaluate your expectations. Think about, are your expectations too high? Are you reaching your expectations? If you're not reaching those, what is that causing you to do? So that is a good way to evaluate if your expectations are truly serving you. So maybe you have higher expectations and right now you're reaching those and it's feeling good and you're thinking, I'm good. I don't need to reframe these. I feel like I'm good. Or maybe you like, oh my gosh, I totally am like Sarah, or like that first example where I have these high expectations. I'm not reaching them. And this is what it's causing me to do. So maybe I would be better off by lowering my expectations and reaching those and feeling more confident, right? I mean, tangent, but I kind of live my life that way in a way. And I just feel like it's just a happier way to live, have these lower expectations. You're less, you're let down less, you experience life a little better because you don't expect these crazy things. And when you have these lower expectations and you meet them and you're just like, kind of like just more happy, it leads to better progress, a better attitude, just kind of a better life in general. So anyway, I know that was a tangent off from our fat loss results expectations talk, but let me know, guys. I know this was a short one for today. I want to know, did you enjoy this episode? Did it help you? Did it make you think? Let me know. Again, if you enjoyed this, I'd love it if you gave me a rating and review. So we're still trying to collect those so the podcast can reach more people. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I will talk to you next week.